My camera just told me sleep cancel. I don't know what that means. I ain't canceling no sleep. Well, I kind of did last night, but we aren't going to talk about that. Something just fell down my windowsill. Do I care? No. Anyways, hi guys. I'm doing another reading vlog and I'm so excited, and hopefully I will be able to do more of these because I'm pretty much out of school now. I literally just took my last exam like an hour ago, and do I not graduate for another month? Yes. Do I have to log into classes or do any homework until then? No, I do not. So hopefully that means more of these. Okay, so you may have heard of this before. I vividly remember Destiny Sidwell doing this video. And I think she said she got it from Rachel Catherine. I do not know and I do not remember. But this week I'm going to be trying to read 200 pages a day. It depends greatly on like how much I'm home in a day, but I can read anywhere from like 50 to 100 pages on a regular day. But because I'm out of school, I was like, why not challenge myself and try to read 200 pages a day? And hopefully that means I can also get like 2.5, maybe even 3 books done this week, and that would just be a wonderful way to start off the month of May. But the book that I'm going to start off with, let me get it. Excuse me. Okay. Alright. This is the book that I'm going to start off with. This is Final Girls by Riley Sager. I am mostly excited to read this. Riley Sager writes really good thrillers. I've been in a thriller mood recently. I've been on a Riley Sager kick. I've read 2 of his other books, and then I want to read this one, and then I want to read Survive the Night. But we're starting with this one. I don't really know anything about this book. I think it's like survivors of kidnappers, and they're called the Final Girls. And it's like a support group, maybe? Something like that. Oh, but that's what I understand it to be. So I'm gonna try to read 200 pages of this book today. I have another shift this afternoon, but I don't go until 5. It's like 12 right now. So hopefully I can get 200 pages done in between meal prepping and going to see my boyfriend and working another shift tonight. But we'll see. Okay, so I'm trying out this whole film on my phone thing. So if the audio quality is bad or if the video quality is bad compared to the rest of the video and it bothers you, please tell me. Okay, I am 53 pages into Final Girls by Riley Sager, and I was pretty much right in how I explained it. So we're following the main character Quincy, and Quincy was the last survivor of a typical cabin slaughter thing in the woods. She was the last of 6 and she was the only one that survived. And she's deemed a final girl, which I remember why Final Girl sounds familiar. Final Girl is TV slang for the last woman standing in a horror film, which makes sense. I don't know why it took me so long to remember that. There are 2 other Final Girls, one who survived a similar murder story, and then another who's also survived a similar murder story. The first one ends up killing herself, and it's kind of bringing them all together, and they have to figure out what's going on. No paranormal stuff yet, so hopefully no paranormal stuff in this book, because that's the only thing that turns me off from Riley Sager is when he goes paranormal. That's what I can't stand. But we aren't there yet, and it doesn't seem like we're gonna go there, so hopefully it stays that way. Okay, I will update you once I hit my 200 page mark. Okay. Yesterday I failed. It's Tuesday morning now, and I read 108 pages of Final Girls yesterday, and I'm not actually upset. It would have been really shocking if I had succeeded yesterday, because 100 pages is still a lot for me for a Monday, because Mondays are my busiest day of the week. So I'm not too frustrated with that. Like that's okay. Like I can handle that. Today, however, is April 30th. And I'm really mad because I really want to finish this book. This book is only 339 pages, so I could technically finish this book in today's video. My muffins are done. Give me a Anyways, as I was saying, while that was cool, I am probably just going to finish Final Girls today and put it in my May wrap up and just call it good, because if I have to read 200 pages today, I'm gonna get to like 300 and something, and that's the point of a thriller where like everything is almost resolved, so there's no way I'm gonna be able to stop there because I'm really enjoying this book. So we're just gonna do that. Okay, so I'm about 70 pages through my reading for the day. I meant to give more of an update earlier, but I was interrupted, and now we're here. So yeah, I'm on page 176 of Final Girls by Riley Sager, and I wanted to say that this book definitely feels a lot more like a I want to say slasher, because these girls have all survived like slasher situations. Massacres is what they're called in the books. It feels more like that. Like it feels more like true crime. That's what I'm trying to say. It feels a little bit more like true crime and like a psychological thriller than Riley Sager's the last two books that I've read by him. I don't think there's going to be anything paranormal in here, but the darker element has shown up. And I don't have like nearly as big of a problem with it as I do with like the paranormal stuff, but it is putting me in a darker headspace, and that's not always good for me with thrillers. But I do like the more classic slasher murder mystery thriller aspect of this. Oh, and one of the main things that we're focusing on in this book is the main girl, the massacre that she was in. She has repressed memory from it, and so that is one of the main goals of the book, is for her to remember what happened during that whole situation that she survived. I'll leave it at that, and yeah, it's going great, and hopefully it continues to go great. Sorry I came down with the hiccups reading the last few pages, and my boyfriend told me that if you drink water and look up and swallow it, that makes them go away, and for me it works. So anyways, I actually got my 200 pages done today, and I'm now on page 310 of 339 of Final Girls. It's also 10:30 at night. So not only am I reading a thriller at 10:30 at night, like the psychopath that I am, but I'm also normally asleep by this time, or like in bed. So this is gonna be an interesting week, but I hit my 200 page mark. Really not much else has happened that I need to update you on. I just wanted to let you know that I did in fact hit my goal today. Give me a second. Need my props. Okay, I'm sorry about this tree. I'm gonna have to just deal with it. But it is Wednesday now, and I just finished Final Girls by Riley Sager, and I'm going to save my ratings and reviews for the end of the video. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I read 29 pages to finish this, and then I am 45 pages into Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Yeah, by Rachel Lynn Solomon. So where does that put me for the day? Puts me at it puts me at 74 pages for the day, which is not bad. Yeah, it's only like 2 o'clock right now, and I know that I'll be reading a lot tonight before I go home, or before I go to bed, especially considering this is not a thriller, so it won't give me nightmares. But yeah, sorry, it's really hot in my car if I'm losing my breath. That's why. But I don't want to turn it on because it will be really loud and bother you guys, and my phone will start connecting to it, and then I won't have a microphone. So yeah, this is a book that takes place the day before, the night before, and then the day of graduation, and it's between these two characters, and they've been competing academically their entire lives. They're academic rivals. It's come down to which one of them is going to be valedictorian, and my assumption is that this is academic rivals to lovers, and it's okay. I don't have really high expectations for it. It's going well so far. Not a whole lot's happened. I haven't read a YA romance in a while, but I'm really glad that I'm reading this before I graduate high school, because otherwise I feel like I would not connect to these characters at all. That's all I have for right now, and I'm sure I will update you guys a little bit later today as I get further into Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. Can I call it TTT? No, that sounds weird. As I get further into that book, and obviously when I hit my goal. So yeah, this book was so fine, like just so mediocre and fine, until our main character decided to say that chivalry is outdated and she hates it. Really? Okay, now I just like you a little bit less. Like, you know, just a little bit. Welcome to another nightly update. Again, it's like 10 o'clock, but we aren't going to talk about that. I am 171 pages through Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which means I've read my 200 pages for the day. The book is pretty much exactly what I expected it to be. They're playing assassin, or like some version of assassin in this book. They played that in the Summer of Broken Rules, and I loved the way that game was fleshed out in there, and I'm enjoying it in this one too. I think my main issue with this book is it takes place in Seattle. Just, I don't agree with the main character in a lot of things. Like, I mean, she's just very outspoken, which, I don't know. It has almost as much politics in it as Truly Devious did, which I didn't appreciate, and I don't know. I just don't appreciate when main characters are really polarizing, because it feels like the author is inflicting their personal views onto the character, and that needs to stay in the real world. It's a much better experience for me as a reader to read a book with someone that I don't have to continually politically agree with or politically disagree with. Just keep politics out of books. But other than that, this book is okay. But because there's so much of that in there, and there's also not a lot going on, this is a very quick book, and it doesn't feel insta-lovey to me because these characters have known each other for most of their lives. It's definitely probably considered insta-love, it just doesn't feel that way to me because they have a very long history with each other. But I'm enjoying myself and I'm not like dreading reading it. So that's good. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, which is Thursday. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know that Friday I am going to be home for probably a total of 2 hours, if that. So I'm either going to split my 200 pages for Friday between Friday and Saturday, or just move the 200 pages to Saturday. Just so you're aware and you don't set unrealistic expectations for me, because this is my video, therefore I can make my own rules, and I'm not a full-time booktuber, so my life does not revolve around reading. It's Thursday. I'm really sorry. I know that you saw a little bit of a montage from me earlier, but I haven't talked to the camera yet today. I've been super busy. I haven't really had the chance to talk to the camera, mainly because I was editing my wrap-up that went up for you guys last week. But yeah, I am, how many? 289 pages into Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, and the politics is just going over my head now. I'm not really paying attention to it, which is good. I would like to argue that Rivals to Lovers have the best, or I should say not the best, but the most witty banter, and it's starting to feel insta-lovey, but that's to be expected because this book takes place in like a 24-hour period. So, I mean, I don't know what you would expect going into this book, but I'm liking it more as I keep reading. Also, I have, I think, 120-ish pages done for my reading today. And the thing is, I definitely could hit my 200 page goal today, but I may or may not. Like, I'm gonna sit here and read for a little bit, but I'm not going to push myself to hit that goal because I realize that I'm starting to burn out because it feels like a deadline that I'm trying to meet, and that is not the goal of like, that's not why I read books. That's not why I film these videos. If this were my full-time job, it would be totally different, but it's not. And like, reading is my break for my everyday life. We'll probably stop at about 150 pages today, and then I'll still try to get a total of 200 pages between tomorrow and Saturday. I don't consider it failing because I'm looking out for myself and making sure I don't slump. Okie dokie. I am stopping my reading at 158 pages for the day, which is super close to 200, but not 200. So I will definitely finish Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, and I think you guys will be really excited for the book that I read next. this is the angle that we're going with. I think I just put something up on the screen, but I ended up finishing Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon last night, which put me at 192 pages for yesterday, so we're just gonna say that I hit my goal yesterday. I will review this at the end of the video. I am returning it to the library though, and I did return Final Girls yesterday. So the next book I'm going to be reading is One Dark Window by, who's it by? Rachel Gillig. And I had no intentions of reading this book. Like, despite hearing so much about it, I probably didn't have intentions of reading it until like a couple weeks ago, or like a month ago maybe. But from what I know, it's like a gothic fantasy. My reasoning for wanting to read this is completely unreasonable, but I was like, oh, I really want to reread Caraval, but that wasn't a highly, like, I didn't love that series. Like, I was like, One Dark Window seems like it has a similar magic system, because I know that they both have to do with cards. I know that those two series are probably worlds apart, and One Dark Window is probably a whole lot darker than Caraval, but that is where my brain went, and so that's what I'm doing. I have to leave the house in like 2 seconds, and I'm going to the library, and then, yeah, I won't be home until like 6 something tonight, but when I go grab lunch, I will probably be reading this, so that'll be the next time you see me. Hey, you're gonna have to bear with this angle. I know it's not the best, I'm sorry. But I am 37 pages through One Dark Window, and that's probably all I'm going to be able to read today. It's like 3:15 right now. I have to go into work in like 10 minutes. And yeah, I still don't really know what's going on. So hopefully I'm able to figure that out at some point. But we'll see. I just want to pop in and update that 37 may be the number for today, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Happy Saturday. I left my book downstairs, but I'm still going to tell you about it. I'm about 100 pages through One Dark Window. Why am I out of breath just from like coming up the stairs? Does that happen to anyone else? Anyways, I'm 100 pages through One Dark Window, and I really like it. It's so funny because the only other like dark fantasy that I've read is Belladonna, and I didn't like that. And then the other dark fantasies that I've read, it's been years. So yeah, I'm really surprised, but I am really enjoying One Dark Window. I think part of it is because it's raining today, and it's a very lazy stay inside and read all day, and I am working a double, but that's all I'm doing today. So I have lots of time to read while I'm at home. I am not really sure the exact plot of where the story is going to go, to be quite honest. I'm still a little bit confused. But I understand it enough to where I'm enjoying the book. The magic system of the book revolves around these 12 cards, and they're different characters, and they provide different magical abilities. That's about all I've gathered so far. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm sure I will update you more tonight. So, yeah. Okay, I am 179 pages through One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, which puts me at 179 pages for my total between yesterday and today. And I know it's not 200, and I may reach 200. Obviously, if I do, You'll know in the next few minutes. But I'm stopping here for now, and I may or may not pick this up again to finish the last 20 pages before I go to sleep. But I'm really loving this story, and not in a way where it's like I'm like super invested and I like can't put it down. It's a gothic fantasy, so it feels cozy, but not in like a light way, if that makes sense. Like, not a lot is happening, but it has that very dark, mysterious atmosphere. I may have already mentioned it, but it's been raining all day, and then I also am having really, really bad back pain because I hurt myself at the gym. Those two things combined, I am just not really doing much today. So, it's been easier for me to just lay around and read this book. There is, I think, I wanted to update around page 120 maybe, and I wanted to be like, I think we just figured out who the love interest is. And that's when you know that like the romance, like you know the romance is going to be good when you have to say, I think, because the romance is going to be such tiny hints that like if it's done really well, it's gonna be like a really good romance. Like this is not a romantic fantasy. Romance is not a main plot in this book at all. But I can already tell that I am going to love the romance in this book. Now, I know that this is technically the end of my 5-6 day week, reading 200 pages a day. Even if I don't finish my 200 pages tonight, I'm going to try to come back in a few days after I finish this book and give you a review of all 3 books. That way, you don't have to wait till my wrap up to hear my thoughts on this book. I'm not that cruel. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this book. I don't think it'll be a 5-star, but it's above a 4. Like, it's gonna be really good. Oh, I was going to say, I know I said that I was confused earlier. Everything clicked into place like shortly after I picked the book back up because and the magic system is actually really, really simple. I think I was struggling to understand what our main character's magic was, but it's actually all really simple, and it actually makes like a lot of sense. The mist part is still a little bit confusing to me, but the cards completely make sense to me now. So, yeah, and not a lot is happening, but I'm still really, really invested in our characters and our plot and romance, and I'm gonna stop rambling now, and, yeah, I will see you guys when I review these books. Alright, who is ready for the culmination of this video and the review of every single book that I read? It is a few days later, so I finished One Dark Window, but I'm going to save that one for the end. We're going to talk about them in the order that I read them. I've already returned Final Girls and Today, Tonight, Tomorrow to the library, so I don't have them with me. But let's start with Final Girls by Riley Sager. I rated this book 4 stars. For a thriller, I feel like it's exactly what I'm looking for the most part. It definitely reminded me more of a YA thriller, and I haven't read a YA thriller in like a really long time. But most of the slasher type thrillers that I've read are YA. And the entire premise of this book with the massacres, it felt very true crime. I think I mentioned that earlier, which was more entertaining for me personally. I don't always enjoy my thrillers being more, not realistic, but more like they could take place in the real world. I don't always enjoy that, but that is what this one felt like. And Riley Sager is so good with twists. I think I got really close to guessing the way that the book ended, but I don't think I actually guessed it. The darker element of that book is a plot twist that he leads you on for a little bit. I didn't like that part necessarily because it was making me feel, the closest I can describe it is it was making me feel the darkness that Lisa Jewell's thrillers make me feel. So I think that was why I had to drop it from a 5-star to a 4-star. But yeah, for a thriller, it was absolutely incredible. And then I read Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon, and this was an academic rivals to lovers. I kept saying that it took place the day before, the day of, and the day after graduation, It did not. At their high school, they played this game called Howl, which is a combination of a scavenger hunt and assassin. And it took place over the course of that game, which I think was it was still like a little bit over 24 hours. I'm struggling to remember the characters' names. But Neil and whoever the girl was, they have been academic rivals their entire high school career. And it's coming down to who's going to get salutatorian and valedictorian, and one of them gets valedictorian and the other one doesn't. And then they have to go and play Howl. And so the one who didn't get valedictorian is like, dang, I have to beat the other one in something. So they go and they are still like super competitive in Howl, but some things happen. Yeah, I don't know. They have a really long history with each other. I rated that book 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it for sure. Like, I enjoyed the atmosphere of it. I think the social issues were way too heavily emphasized on it, and it definitely felt very insta-lovey despite their extensive backstory. I think it was a good idea to read it in May while I'm like waiting to graduate. If you're a senior in high school who just graduated or you're about to graduate, highly recommend reading it. One Dark Window was kind of an off-the-wall read for me. I was not interested in reading this book until maybe a month ago, even though it's been talked about for so long, and I know it got popular off of being like the second best fantasy of 2023 after Fourth Wing, because so many people were talking about it on Book Talk, I think specifically. But One Dark Window is a gothic fantasy, and you're following this girl, and she was infected with this fever when she was 9 years old, and she now has this creature that lives inside of her because of the fever. And most of the kids, when they get the fever, they're sent to the king to be killed because they develop something that will kill them, essentially. So her family hid her for 11 years. She's 20 now, and I don't read very many fantasies that aren't YA. So it's actually really nice to read about someone who wasn't a child, if that makes sense. And the romance of this book is crumbs, but it's phenomenal. The plot and the magic system of this book is extremely simple, but I think that's what made it so enjoyable. Like, I didn't want to put this book down. It was a brainless fantasy read, and I doubt you will ever hear me say that again, because it took almost no brain power for me to read and comprehend and understand. I know I said I was confused at the beginning, but that's because when you bring cards into anything, I get confused. I'm just an idiot. 4.5 stars. This book was almost a 5-star, and I couldn't even tell you really why it wasn't. I think it was just that it was too simple to be a 5-star, I guess. But I was really frustrated that this book ended on a cliffhanger because I checked it out from the library and I really don't feel like going to buy the second book, but my library system doesn't carry the second book. And I was gonna save, I'm cheap, obviously, if you can't tell by that statement alone. I was gonna save my audiobook hours from May for the trip that I'm going on in June. That way I had like 30 hours instead of 15. And the second book of this is free on Spotify Premium as an audiobook. So unfortunately, I will be using them this month to listen to Two Twisted Crowns. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book. Especially if you get confused by fantasy very easily. This is very easy to understand without being basic, if that makes sense. Like, it's just fun. The atmosphere, everything. It's just fun. It is May 7th right now, and I've somehow read 3 books in 1 week, which was the entire purpose of this video, was to kick May off, start May on the right foot. It was so fun. I would totally do this video again, but it was also really difficult. The last 50 to 70 pages each day always felt like a chore. I feel like more motivated to read longer, if that makes sense. But yeah. Anyways, my food is ready, so I need to go eat lunch. And yeah, I will see you guys when I see you. Thank you for making it this far, and I love you so much. Bye.